Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus. Review 3, chapters 9 through 12. This is morphology exercise D. We are to decline the following noun-adjective pairs in Latin. We are given the English untrue king. We need to decline that noun-adjective pair, untrue king. So we'll start with the nominative. We have the noun king modified by the adjective untrue or false. So the noun is going to be king, rex regis masculine, and untrue will be falsus aum. So the nominative would be rex, which is masculine, and we want the masculine adjective form of falsus aum, and that will be us, so falsus, rex falsus. So we will decline rex here and falsus here in these columns. Rex here and falsus here. Rex, which is a third declension noun, you can tell by the genitive singular, which ends in is, so you can write rex for the nominative and regis for the genitive. So a genitive singular ending in is, and it's a masculine noun. You must ask yourself now, if it's a third declension noun, if it's an I stem. Does it follow any of the I stem rules for masculine and feminine nouns? And the answer is no, it does not. The nominative does not end in is or es. The nominative is monosyllabic, but the stem does not end in two consonants. The stem, when you chop off the is from the genitive singular, ends in e and then g. E is a vowel, not a consonant. There aren't two consonants. The stem also does not end in nt or rt. Stem ends in g. So it's not an I stem. It will decline like a normal third declension masculine noun. If you are more comfortable declining the noun first and then declining the adjective separately, that's fine. Go ahead. But you should work towards declining the noun like rex falsus, regis falsi, regi falso, etc. So declining the noun rex, we have rex, regis. The stem is reg, R-E-G, when you chop off that is. So you can write reg, R-E-G, for the rest of the forms. And then add third declension masculine endings. So is, e, m, a, es, ibus, es, ibus. Now falsus, we decide that the masculine falsus should agree with the masculine noun rex. That will decline like a second declension masculine. So us, and then e, o, o, e, orum, is, os, is. To get rex falsus, regis falsi, regi falso, regem falsum, rege falso. Reges falsi, regum falsorum, regibus falsis, reges falsos, regibus falsis. Optime. A small sister. So the noun is sister, adjective is small. So soror, sororis, feminine is sister. It's a third declension feminine. And small is parvus aum. We don't want the masculine us, parvus, or the neuter for parvum. We want the feminine parva, because soror is feminine. Soror parva. So write nominative soror, and the adjective nominative is parva. Soror will decline like a third declension feminine, and parva will decline like a first declension feminine. Is soror an I stem because it is a third declension noun? And the answer is no, it does not follow any of the I stem rules. The nominative does not end in is or es. the nominative is not monosyllabic, and the stem does not end in nt or rt. If you are more comfortable declining the noun and the adjective separately, go right ahead, but you should work towards declining them case by case. So soror, sororis, sorori, sororem, sorore, sorores, sororum, sororibus, sorores, sororibus. And then parva will decline like a first declension feminine. So I, arum, is, as, is. So parva, parvae, parvae, parvam, parva, make run over the final A. Parvae, parvarum, parvis, parvas, parvis. So soror parva, sororis parvae, sorori parvae, sororem parvam, sorore parva. Sorores parvae, sororum parvarum, sororibus parvis, sorores parvas, sororibus parvis. Great fire. A great fire. Fire being the noun, ignis, ignis, masculine. Great is the adjective, magnosa and if ignis is masculine, we want the masculine us, so magnus. Ignis magnus, a great fire. Ignis goes here, magnus goes here. Ignis, ignis masculine, being a third declension masculine, will decline like a third declension masculine noun in this column and in the plural in this column. Magnus will decline like a second declension masculine, us, e, o, e, orm, is, os, is, in the adjective columns. Once again, you can decline them separately, but work towards declining them case by case. Is ignis, because it's third declension, an I stem? The answer is yes, it is. Ignis is an I stem. The nominative ends in is, ignis, and it is perisyllabic, has the same number of syllables as the genitive. So ignis, ignis. So we have ignis here and ignis here for the genitive. If it is an I stem and it's masculine, that means that the genitive plural will end in I-U-M, not just U-M. So it's ignium instead of ignum. So ignium, and that's the only change in the masculine / feminine I stems. So ignis, ignis, igni, ignem, igne, ignes, ignium, ignibus, ignes, ignibus. Some students see a third declension noun being an I stem, and they want to put that the ablative singular is letter I, pronounced E. Don't do that. The ablative singular, which is in the third declension usually the letter E, pronounced E, that only turns the letter I, pronounced E, if it's a neuter I stem, So animal, mari, exemplar, those will have ablative singulars ending in the letter I, pronounced E. Animali, mari, exemplari. Otherwise, third declension nouns tend to have the letter E, pronounced A, as the ablative singular, like it is in igne. Now, that doesn't mean that irregularities don't exist, but yes, most of them have igne, letter E. The magnus, second declension masculine, us, e, o, e, orem, is, os, is, magnus, magni, magno, magnum, magno, magni, magnorum, magnis, magnos, magnis. So ignis magnus, ignis magni, igni magno, ignem magnum, igne magno. Ignes magni, ignium magnorum, ignibus magnis, ignes magnos, ignibus magnis. It was a good journey. Good journey. Journey is the noun, iter, itineris, neuter, and good is the adjective, bonus a And because iter is neuter, we want the neuter ending. So iter bonum. Not us, not a, not bonus, not bona, but bonum, neuter, to agree with the neuter iter. Iter, itineris, neuter. Is it an I stem? It is not. The neuter I stems must end in AL, letter E, or AR, not ER, iter, AR. So iter is not an I stem. It will decline like a third declension neuter I stem. Iter, itineris, itineri, iter, remember the accusative is the same as the nominative, itinere with the letter E, itinere. Itinera, itinerum, itineribus, itinera, itineribus. And then we want bonum, the neuter form, to agree with the neuter iter. So I, o, a, orum, is, a, is. So second declension neuter. Iter bonum, itineris boni, itineri bono, iter bonum, itinere bono. Itinera bona, itinerum bonorum, itineribus bonis, itinera bona, itineribus bonis. Our sea is the sea belonging to us, our sea. So mare, maris, neuter, sea, third declension, neuter noun. And it must agree, or we must have the adjective noster, nostra, nostrum agree with it. So because mare is neuter, we want the neuter nostrum to agree with it. So mare nostrum. So mare goes here, nostrum goes here. So the genitive of mare is maris. Is it an I stem? It's a third declension neuter, and it is an I stem. It ends in the letter E in the nominative. So mare. That means it will decline like a third declension neuter I stem, where its ablative singular ends in the letter I pronounced E, so mari. The nominative and accusative plurals are going to end in ia, so maria. And the genitive plural will end in ium, ium, marium. So we get mare, maris, mari, mare, mari, maria, marium, maribus, maria, maribus. And then nostrum, the neuter, will decline like a second declension neuter. I, o, a, orum, is, a, is. So mare nostrum, maris nostri, mari nostro, mare nostrum, mari nostro, Maria nostra, Marium nostrorum, maribus nostris, Maria nostra, and maribus nostris. Optime. A new enemy, we mean a public enemy, a new enemy. Public enemy, an enemy is a hostis, hostis masculine. New is going to be novus a and because hostis is masculine, we want the masculine us, novus, so hostis novus. Hostis being the nominative noun here, the genitive is hostis, and then novus goes here. So novus is pretty easy, the adjective, it's a second declension masculine, us, I, o, I, orum, is, os, is. But what about that hostis? Is it an I stem? It's a third declension, and the answer is yes, it is an I stem. Its nominative ends in is, hostis, and it is perisyllabic with the genitive. Hostis has two syllables, and the genitive hostis has two syllables. Perisyllabic, same number of syllables, like Ignis. That means the genitive plural will end in ium, and that's the only change it undergoes. Genitive plural ends in ium instead of just So hostium. We get hostis novus, hostis novi, hosti novo, hostem novum, hoste novo. Hostes novi, hostium novorum, hostibus novis, hostes novos, hostibus novis. Optime. And that is the end of exercise D. You are now ready to move on to morphology, exercise E. Optime and valete omnes.